Hello everybody, my name is Nemo and welcome back to the Ravnica Sealed Draft Tournament. This is match number 2 against Multeyemeteor and we're off. He gets the start because he lost the previous match. So I draw a hand here and I have my land. I have 4 lands, I have 2 forests and 2 plains, so I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. It's just pretty good. You want to have your lands, and I have some early drops, and you can't really ask for much more. Asking for a better hand than this would just be greedy. So, obviously, I hope to draw some more early drops and apply some more pressure, but I do actually draw a 2-drop, so that's pretty good as well. And he goes ahead and plays an island here, and looks like we're both off to a decent start. And we'll have to see what he drops next. Is an Azorius Chancery. And a Chancery is a very interesting card. It's a land that taps for 2 mana. So it taps for both white and a blue mana. But when you play it, you have to bounce an island or a plane. So it's pretty much mana fixing. But it only works if you already have one of those. And it enters the battlefield tapped. So it's an interesting card, really. I forget to actually tap my lands in advance here. So I even skipped to the end step before tapping my lands to play the Solana Ledgewalker. Oh well, mistakes happen. Anyway, so even though he only has 1 land on his side, he can tap that for 2 mana. So he actually has 2 mana on his side. And he's going to drop a second land here, one would imagine. So that means he'll be at 3 mana now, so yeah. And he plays a, what is this thing called again? A Vision, Hydropon, something like that. Either way, it's a free cost 0/0 creature that has Graft 5 and it can't attack or block, so it's useless in combat. But the Graft 5, what that means is that it enters the battlefield with 5+1/+1 counters on it. So it doesn't actually die when you play it, since it's a 0/0 creature otherwise. And then, whenever you play another creature, you can craft one of those +1/+1 counters onto it as it enters the battlefield. So it pretty much is going to buff up his side, but it's not actually... I mean, it is a creature, but it doesn't actually do anything in combat. So, aside from just buffing his guys as he plays them. That's the only purpose that thing has. So it's a little bit, it's an interesting card for that reason. I play my Wild Beastmaster after swinging in for 1 more damage. Or actually that's my first time I swing in there, so he's a 19. I play Wild Beastmaster, which is a free cost creature and probably the most expensive creature I drafted. It can be extremely good and in the right circumstances when you're being aggressive, and that's what I want to be with this deck, so it's a very good creature for this deck. What it does is whenever it attacks, all other attacking creatures get +1/+1 counters for as much power and toughness as the Wild Beastmaster has. So basically, attacking right here would mean I deal 3 damage rather than 2, because the Solana Ledgewalker would get +1/+1, since the Wild Beastmaster is a 1/1. So if I get to actually buff up my Wild Beastmaster with any card, then I could be attacking for even more, not just with the Wild Beastmaster, but with my other creatures as well. So that's the reason he takes 3 damage here, rather than 2. And I'm at 4 lands, and I pretty much, I've got Phantom General, so it's pretty obvious what I'm going to be playing here. So this is, I think I missed the point where it happened, but I found out that, hey, I can just select all of my lands by dragging a box and then go ahead and tap them all at once rather than having to click them all individually, which I was doing in previous games. So finally I found out, and luckily we'll be able to see me do that for the rest of the tournament. So that annoyance is dealt with now, as I found that out, luckily. Trust me, it was annoying me as well in editing the videos and watching it back. I was like, oh, come on. Why aren't you just selecting all your cards and tapping them at once? But hey, I was new to the program, so luckily I found out. Anyway, so I'll first attack here. All I got is Cockatrice. So, basically I can't play a creature or anything. I just have to see what he does and hope that my Cockatrice can do stuff. But for now, I'm dealing him damage. I'm in the lead, so that's good. That's where I want to be with this deck. Yeah, apparently he hasn't drawn too well, is what he's saying in the chat there. He's screwed in every which direction, more or less. So that doesn't sound good for him, but it does sound very good for me. So he takes 6 damage here, as again, my Wild Beastmaster pumps up both my Phantom General and my Solana Ledgewalker. So my Solana Ledgewalker attacks for 2, Wild Beastmaster attacks for 1, and Phantom General attacks for 3, that's 6 in total. He's now at 5 lands, or 4 lands with 5 mana, since the Azorius Chancery can tap for a white and a blue. And he's going to play a 5-drop, a Sky Hussar, which is basically just a 5/4 flyer. It has some abilities, but they're irrelevant. He untaps all his creatures when it enters play, irrelevant. And he can do some stuff when he discards this thing from his hand, but he can draw some cards or something like that, I don't know. Or he can show it to me and then draw a card, and I don't know. It's irrelevant because the thing is on the board now, so it doesn't matter anymore what the rest of its abilities are. But I was basically just at this point I was reading it, go, oh, what does it do? What is this? But yeah, it's a 5/4 flyer now. As he, of course, he grafted onto it with his Hydro Pawn, and it's back onto me. I dropped my 6th land here, so at this point I can drop my Selesnya Keyrune, or I can start with the Combat Trickery stuff. Basically, dropping Selesnya Keyrune means I can't attack this turn, because he will block and kill my Wild Beastmaster. Or if I don't bring it, then he will block and kill something else. So I could, of course, then Rootbound Born defenses, but that would basically just mean I could get to deal damage once, then not be able to deal damage again later. So basically, I want to be playing Rootborn defenses as well as Avenging Arrow in the same turn, because that means my guy survives and his guy doesn't. But instead, I decided to play Selesnya Keyrune here, probably after doing some math and looking at his life totals and deciding that, you know, I wanted to take it a little bit slower because I wasn't quite there yet. Now he plays Palatian Accord, which is a very good card for slowing me down. It's an enchantment, 5 cost. So whenever one of my creatures attacks or becomes blocked in any way, it gets a shield counter, and he can then use those shield counters to negate any damage that is dealt to him. So he can basically, if I bring 3 creatures, that's 3 less damage I'm dealing him. Basically, that's what it comes down to. So that's a big decision in whether or not I want to bring the Selesnya Keyrune here. As again, of course, if I want to take advantage of the Rootborn defenses and the Avenging Arrow, I probably want to cast both of them in one turn. I've got the mana to also play Gather Courage, but doing all of that would mean I don't get to activate the Selesnya Keyrune. But you know, I mean, since he has the Palatian Accord, I don't think bringing a lot of creatures here is going to help. I need to actually deal with his defenses so that I can still swing in on the following turns as well. So I can actually bring his life total down and advance my board position. That is a better move than just basically suiciding one of my creatures into his just to deal more damage this turn. Because I wouldn't kill him. I think I would bring him to 1 or 2 or something like that. Thanks to the Palatian Accord. So yeah, basically that means it's better to just deal with his creature here. He's playing a pretty sweet deck. He has a lot of defense cards. I totally didn't draft anything nearly similar to what he has there, with the blue and white cards, and I guess it's a splash of green. Anyway, so he blocks my Wild Beastmaster with Sky Hussar, obviously. I played Gather Courage, which is +2/+2 to all my creatures, or to Wild Beastmaster, and that means that all my other creatures also deal more damage on the attack, because Wild Beastmaster then pumps them for how powerful Wild Beastmaster is. So yeah, he blocks the Wild Beastmaster here to try and kill it with his Sky Hussar. He points with his Palatian Accord to my Phantom General to negate some of its damage. 3 of its damage as I attacked with 3 creatures, so that's 3 shield counter. And I play Rootborn Defenses to give all my creatures indestructible at instant speed. That's pretty good. It also has Populate, but I don't have a token here, so I can't populate anything. So, right here we're discussing how much damage I'm dealing him. He takes 6 damage, and I actually thought I was dealing him 4, but turns out I was wrong. I wasn't actually. I was sort of getting confused with the counters on my Wild Beastmaster there. Since the previous person I played against kept adding the power and toughness as well as adding counters and all that, it got kind of confusing for me to tell. But yeah, he's correct in that he takes 6 damage. So, anyways, after combat I play Avenging Arrow, which destroys target creature that dealt damage this turn. So I had to actually do this after combat. But that takes out his Sky Hussar. So next turn I'll be able to attack with 4 creatures. He doesn't have any blockers. And I say 4 creatures because I also have the Selesnya Key-Rune. So he concedes here as he doesn't have another creature to play. But look at this. He had all these spells. This is actually very interesting. Swift Justice is an instant speed spell that adds +1/+0 and First Strike and Lifelink to a creature at instant speed. Very good. For 1 mana. He had this spell, 1 mana, counter target instant spell. He had Gaze of the Gorgon, regenerate his creature and kill whatever it's blocking. He had Devouring Light, exile one of my creatures. All a bunch of really, really good combat trickery spells. So, tapping out to play the Palatian Accord is... He basically said he made a mistake with that. I kind of understand it. I mean, this game could have just gone very, very differently. Of course, he didn't know that I had 2 more combat tricks of my own. And if I didn't, he very well could have turned the game around anyways. But if he kept mana open there, then he could have then played this spell and the free cast thing that exiles one of my creatures. And he could have turned the game around that way as well. And then be able to play Swift Justice next turn. I might have played differently if he didn't play the Palatian Accord, since then I might have brought my Key-Rune and then wouldn't have been able to play both of my instant speed spells, and he would have been able to counterspell the 1 instant speed spell I did play. So, you know, this game could have gone very, very differently, depending on how he played it, which means it's actually quite interesting, but there's no way for him to know that I had those instant speed spells. But on the other hand, you know, playing it safely means that sometimes you have to just assume they have something. So either way, you know, I can get both ways of thinking. So I mean, it's kind of unfortunate for him because I wasn't drawing anything else there. I don't think I drew. Yeah, I drew the Gather Courage, but I didn't draw anything for 2 turns there. So I was running out of steam. So he could have definitely turned that game around. Either way, it's a little bit sad for him, but it's happy for me because I'm now 2-0 in this round. So we're going to move on to round number 3, and thanks for watching. My name has been Nemo. My name will still be Nemo next time. Bye bye.